HooHooHooRobin.
Audioslave. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony program. We call it the O&A virus, spreading across America thanks to XM satellite radio.
That's right.
Getting more gooder every day. And in the studio we have Audioslave.
Hello.
What up?
And they're just waking up. They got their Starbucks and their water, and they're like, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
Yeah, we never have the right. We don't have the right hours for rock guys, man.
Yeah. Well,
we used to do.
We'll make do. We'll all make do.
Well, we used to do afternoons, and we would go through at least I don't know, 2 or 3 cases of beer a day.
The beers were going on.
No joke.
We had a frozen Jaeger machine, and it was afternoons. It's like 4 in the afternoon. Who can't start drinking at 4? You know.
I like the commitment.
Yeah, we really did commit right up until they.
We had
threw
3 or
us off.
4 refrigerators filled with beer. One was supposed to be for food, but we gave up on that. And
but now in the morning, it's like, yeah, you can have an egg white omelet and some coffee. And
Well, a morning audience has their demands, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
They want a sharp wit.
we brought the
Yeah,
Jägermeister
fuck
machine. we brought the Jägermeister machine with us, but that turned out to be a really bad idea. Really bad idea, and as you can see, it's not in the studio anymore.
When can we actually tell what happened then? Because it's been a year.
Has it been a year?
Look at Hawk shaking his head. No, underage drinking. What?
I don't know what the hell happened. I think she showed up drunk.
Girl backroom fuck what?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
He gets all nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
Jimmy directly involved? What?
It was a bad day.
Nothing. The differences on satellite radio are immediately apparent, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Oh, gentlemen, welcome to the wonderful world of satellite fucking radio.
This is like Wizard of Oz when it goes into color mode. We're in color mode now, man. It's a whole new world, this satellite radio.
No restrictions with language or anything you could talk about. There's,
Yet.
None of the crap.
Yet.
Yeah, well, we're going to take advantage of it while we can.
Yeah.
Before they decide, well, now, we've got to regulate this, too.
Yeah, there were no restrictions on the internet when that first started, right? And now it's, you can't...
You guys obviously had your fair share of the fun of people trying to get into the shit you're trying to release back in the old days, right?
Yeah. More than our fair share.
Yeah, a lot of the PMRC, was it called?
Yeah, and more than that, I mean, more recently, too, there's, we've been no stranger to censorship through the years. Yeah.
Really? Still dealing with that?
I mean, not lately, not in the last, but it depends if the terror alert goes to burnt magenta or something, then we're once again in danger.
We had a subway terror alert for the last week here in New York City. Turned out to be nothing once again, so we think it might have something to do with an election. Or I do, anyway.
Yeah.
The mayor's trying to get reelected.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden he's shown he's in control, I guess. I don't know.
Government wouldn't lie to us.
I was going to say, a politician would never do anything
Never.
that sneaky.
Of course not.
Never.
And then just before you guys walked in the studio, we were all laughing because Bush is like hammering nails on TV this morning. So
yeah, he's doing some Habitat for Humanity thing. So they got 20,000 camera crews around him watching him trying to drive a nail. And it's just the saddest thing, man.
Sounds special.
Wow.
Yeah, it's special, all right.
Yeah.
The hammer was wrestled to the ground when it hit the president's thumb.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they'll show him on TV when he drives the nail into the 2000th coffin of the young man or woman from the service coming home. I wonder. Yeah.
There you go.
If that'll be as well covered. Yeah.
No, I don't think we'll be seeing any of those hijinks. Look at you now, being all controversial.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's satellite, baby. Let's roll.
Well, wait for the calls to come in from Alabama now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
What the fuck
Appreciate
you
it.
talking about? God damn you.
Get back to the Jägermeister machine, Tom.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, boy?
Yeah, how into the whole political end were you guys with Rage and stuff?
Pretty well into it.
Was it like, well, a lot of people assume...
As into it as you could get, I think.
But no, I'm just saying because, like, Zach was the one that always came off as the one that was, like, really, as us white people call, the problem. You know what I mean? No, he came across as the guy that was really at the forefront of it and just very into it. I was just wondering how the rest of the guys were.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't be more into it.
Really?
Couldn't even tell you. Yeah.
Did things change though when you got successful and really? It almost seemed like the more success you got, the kind of more people would kind of look and go, it's a little hypocritical now.
No,
I know they did that in the beginning too.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, definitely. I think the more successful the band became, definitely the much more radical the band became. I think. It was,
really?
Conversely, absolutely.
Because as I was looking, because I mean I watched you guys from right when you guys hit, and it kind of looked like, wow, they're bashing the system, but they are certainly capitalizing on it. earning the U.S. dollars and everything.
Well, I mean, the way that we looked at it, and Rage Against the Machine was a band. I mean, yes, we did. There's no doubt that we did earn money, but we gave away millions of dollars, to various activists and charitable organizations. That really wasn't the point. The point of being on a label like Epic Records, which bands like The Clash were on, and major labels also had Public Enemy, Bob Marley, artists like Bob Dylan as well, was to get that message to as many people as possible. And you and I probably wouldn't be talking about it today had we not been on that label to begin with to discuss the opinions of that band. So I think that was.
But it must be tough to balance it out like that,
there was never any conflict within the band. I mean, there may have been conflict within some people's minds, but we did our best to to use the platform that we had to stir up as much shit as possible. XM radio people.
That's right.
Was that your first?
Feels free. Feels free. Yeah.
Was that your first curse right there?
It might have been on.
It's fun, right?
No. Every once in a while it happens.
No, I mean, it
happens, and there's someone's on the button.
Have you ever rolled down Rodeo with the shotgun?
Before this tour is done, maybe.
Hey, before we move on, what is Zach doing these days?
You know
We've
as well.
heard
you know as well
all
as
sorts
I
of
do.
rumors that he's in the woods somewhere and just fighting all sorts of.
I don't think
things.
that that's the case.
No?
He's been working on a record for some time, but that's as much as
I got to be honest. When Rage kind of broke up, and I was like, oh man, and then you got Chris Cornell, and then did the Audioslave thing. I couldn't be happier. You guys, you pulled it off. I couldn't figure out how you were going to pull it off because you guys had such a unique sound and a unique lead singer, but. Props to you guys.
We were lucky.
Yeah, the Audioslave thing is really, really working for you guys. And you went to Cuba.
Yes, we did. Which brings us here this morning.
Yeah, but how do you get into Cuba? Can anyone go to Cuba?
Canada.
No.
There's only one way in.
Cheney, you have to sign a piece of paper.
Seriously, there's only one way you can do it, and you have to put a lot of time into it. And
Really?
But I want to go to Cuba, let's say.
A seaworthy raft that actually can float for 100 miles.
And hold a PA.
Seriously.
Did you guys go? I actually just got an offer to go for Thursday and Friday, but I couldn't because I was here to Guantanamo. Is that where you guys went, or did you guys?
No, we went to Cuba. We went to Havana, Cuba. Yeah.
But how do you? I could go tomorrow.
No, you absolutely not.
How'd you guys get to
not. It took a great deal of wrangling, bureaucratic.
Because I didn't think anyone could go to Cuba that's American, whatever. And then
Did you go under the guise of like a humanitarian thing or something?
No, there was no guise. It was like the U.S. Treasury Department and Fidel Castro had to sign the piece of paper that said Audioslave can come there as part of like a cultural exchange.
Something tells me they don't sign a lot of things together.
You don't see them agreeing on too much, but they did on Audioslave.
Wow, they agreed on Audioslave.
Yeah.
So
and
Fidel's got to be a big fan.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. He didn't come down to the show, so but it was unbelievable.
About 65,000 other people.
Yeah, 65.
Wow. You think he said yes because you guys are anti-establishment in general?
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
No?
I think that go ahead, Brian.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say we were just very persistent. We really wanted to do it. No American rock band had ever played there, and we were determined to be the first one.
How are they getting music down in Cuba? Where does their music come from?
Well, there's Miami radio stations for one that they get, but there's not that much internet access, so it's through like bootleg CDs and stuff. So but they don't get like a smat. They get like Lloyd Banks and they get Venom. So it's not like the Billboard Top 200 that they get. But it was really unbelievable. We went down there and the show was announced about 2 days before the actual show happened, so we had no idea how many people were going to show up, and it ended up being about 70,000 that showed up.
Did they know your stuff, or they were just
They knew some of the songs. They knew some of the songs, and they were appreciative of all the songs. And we played the longest concert we played over 2.5 hours. We played every song we could imagine. We jammed with like local Cuban musicians on stage.
Did you run out of songs?
We ran out of songs.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh no.
What's the crowd like? I mean, the differences between playing here in the States and playing in Cuba.
Timmy, what's the crowd like?
The crowd was different. It was like most crowds work as one, kind of like an ocean, and it was more like a river with rapids.
Really?
There was people salsa dancing. There were people pitting. There were some people standing still. There were others with their hands in the air. And it was clear that they had never rocked out like that before.
Yeah.
And that was the cool thing about it.
Wow.
To see that many people salsa dancing to Killing in the Name.
Yeah, that's just got to
a
be
unique
a
experience.
little odd, but very cool, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. Yeah, was there any sign that maybe they were a little inhibited because of?
Not at all.
No?
Inhibited is not a word that I would use.
Yeah, the only sign they had was the swastika with the Abu Ghraib people right there behind the stage.
Yeah, the stage is actually backed up against. It's not the American embassy or consulate, but wherever the one U.S. building on the island outside of Guantanamo is right next to the stage. It was the plaza where we played was built for the Elian Gonzalez rallies, so it was like the one modern venue in the country. And like Timmy said, they had that was what he was describing was facing the U.S. consulate place. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, they had Elian Gonzalez on TV very recently on 60 Minutes. He's now 11 and he's happy to be back in Cuba.
Yeah. Loves Fidel like a father figure.
Yeah.
Stuff. Do you do some sightseeing? They open the place up for you and really got a good look around.
It was amazing. I mean, that's the part that was probably the most surprising. Is we thought we were just going down there to give the people of Cuba a great treat. Here's some rock, enjoy yourselves, and we got so much more out of it probably than we could have ever given back. It was the experience. We were there for like 3 or 4 days, and the experience we had meeting people and the emphasis on like culture and the arts and the amazing musicians we met and the kind of the warmth and pride of the people there it really blew us away. And we had the cameras rolling for all of it, which
great.
Which we got not only the concert part but also our amazing journey to Havana there on the DVD as well.
Yeah, Audioslave live in Cuba. When this comes out today?
Yeah, that's correct.
Mountain biking in Cuba. Huh?
Yeah, it's kind of sweet. There's no like guards to prevent you from riding on any of the
ruins.
Things. Yeah. The ancient ruins that they have there. So you can just ride your bike right up on it.
Wow, man.
You think they're happy down there? What's your thoughts as you left Cuba?
I'd say that.
Do they want a different way of life?
I would say that there's not only is there an economic embargo by the U.S. against Cuba, there's very much an information embargo. And as American citizens, we have no idea what really goes on down there.
I think there's a lot of propaganda on both sides that just completely keeps us from really understanding each other's culture. And you guys going down there and filming stuff and bringing it back is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then hopefully that will open some doors between.
I think they're fine though. The people that are there, they got Coke, they got Pepsi, they got Budweiser. They're totally content.
I would
There's an
love
embargo.
if they opened up Cuba to the state. I mean, I think it would be.
Yeah. I mean, there's one thing about it that was very refreshing was, because it's not one thing that everywhere in the world you tour is, you tour in capitalist countries. So there's like billboards and there's Paris Hilton and there's Britney News everywhere and there's, KFC everywhere, and there's none of that there. I mean, there's absolutely none, which was very, very refreshing. You get the occasional Che Guevara billboard and beyond that, you get none of that jammed down your throat.
Pictures of Fidel around or?
A few.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
You get Coke and Pepsi, though. You get a lot of that. A lot of it.
That's what I hate about America now, all the franchising. You go to any part of this country.
It's not just America. You go everywhere around from, Belgium.
It's bottled in Mexico City, so
and at times
you're
like, why do I even bother leaving New York? It's pretty much the same wherever you go. As far as the Starbucks. I mean, it's everything.
Unless you're in a communist country. There's no real billboard.
That's the point I'm getting at. I used to love the mom and pop shops and stuff, but obviously it's drastically changed. Someone's yelling at us because we haven't introduced you guys. It's Audioslave, and Chris Cornell's about to walk in the studio, and we got the whole band here. Here he is now.
Here comes Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
We started without you, sir.
I came late so that I could be singled out.
We started without you. We're talking about the whole Cuba thing, obviously. The new DVD comes out today, live in Cuba.
Oh, great. Who did that? That sounds fun.
You mean a band played in Cuba?
And so far it's been very interesting.
Yeah. How'd you guys hook up? Did you have a relationship before while you were in Soundgarden? You guys were in Rage?
Not really, no.
No?
We played at Lollapalooza 96, 4 shows, I think it was, together. There was kind of a roving slot on that tour where usually it had to do with geography, like when we were in Michigan, a band from Michigan would play, and when we were in Oklahoma, a band from Oklahoma. Well, and then Rage was just out on the road, so they played 4 of those slots. And I watched, I think twice I watched when they played. And I just thought it was one of the best live bands I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And that was it. I met them. We got along great. We had like an afternoon where you could tell there was camaraderie right away. We hung out, and we were out on the road, I think, with Metallica then. We didn't really hang out with them that much on the road. it was that tour, but we just, it was a different thing.
But you guys needed a singer, obviously, and then did you have a short list, or
it was actually Rick Rubin who was pretty instrumental in getting us together, because Rick had produced the last Rage record, and so we were hanging out around Rick's house, who's our friend as well, and talking about what we were going to do, and the the one name that's didn't keep coming up. Rick was like, "Dude, you guys need to play with Chris Cornell."
There wasn't some ridiculous ones like, "Hey, David Lee Roth, what do you think?"
Was there a point?
Like
it was just between those two.
Was there a point where you were thinking it's over?
Hell no.
That's
cool. Not for a second.
You just knew you could move on, no problem.
Yeah,
I had a dream about Rick Rubin actually probably about an hour ago, because I was asleep an hour ago. And
sorry about that.
Incredibly cool high-tech skateboard. And I wanted it. And that was the dream.
That was your dream?
It was incredible. It was the coolest skateboard I've ever seen.
And when you woke up, were you bummed out that it was a dream?
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. You're like, oh, man.
Me too.
I was rocking in my dream, and I'm now just waking up in a hotel room in New York.
And if there's a cool thing, he always has it,
one of those guys likes buying the new toys and stuff?
In a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, you would never see him on a skateboard ever in a million years, but that's projection in my dream.
You guys made a few bucks. Anything that you just like, the first thing that you really went and said, holy shit, I could afford this now?
A house.
A mattress was the
Really? It was that bad?
Yeah.
And a pinball machine.
A mattress and a pinball machine. Those are my first two purposes.
Something besides Top Ramen.
Yeah.
I had Top Ramen like 3 times a day
dinner
for a long
dinner
time.
for 2 at Red Lobster. Those were the.
That Top Ramen shit's great though, man.
It is. I still like it, and I don't have to eat it now.
Yeah, it sustains your life for so long during those lean years, and it's damn tasty.
Well, it embalms you because there's so much salt in it.
Yeah, the salt preservative. Like a mummy. Now, obviously, you've been singing forever. Your voice, man, probably one of the best in rock. Your range has always been amazing. If I may use the word, Jimmy, phenomenal. Did you always? Now you have to know when you're seeing other people sing. You're in bands and stuff, and you had to know. Wow, I really got something here. When did you realize you could really?
When did you realize you were phenomenal?
Yeah, you were. When did you realize you were amazing?
I have moments where I feel that, and moments where I don't feel that, and that's like right now.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to sing this morning for us.
I could. I'm not going to, but I could. I just want you to know that I could. It would be. I'm sure it would be really great. But I'm not going to do it. When we get in the van, though, I'm going to sing for these guys.
Oh, and they're going to love you for that.
Yeah.
Is it hard to say? Obviously, in the morning.
I started out as a drummer, and I wasn't that great of a drummer. And thank God, I had other talents because I loved being a musician in a band, and I liked working on songwriting and performing every aspect of it. But drums was for me, and I just didn't have. You have to have something like Brad has it that I don't have. Just to get in the pocket and the groove and be. You're kind of like the foundation of the song and the band, and that just you either have that, I guess, or you don't. I don't think you can teach that. But I would sing backups from the drums. And to great acclaim right away.
Yeah.
And so it didn't take me long to put 2 and 2 together. That
get off the kit and
yeah.
Well, did you do covers when you played drums?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What were some of the covers you did?
First time I ever sang from behind the drums in a band, I think it was a version of Red House that was based on Jimi Hendrix.
Really?
Yeah. And I think I actually sang a Billy Joel song.
All right, that's what we want to hear.
Those are the ones.
We don't want to hear the cool covers.
Yeah.
Red House.
That was the first one, but I think You May Be Right, I May Be Crazy. Like I kind of know the words to that song still because I did that from the drums. Now there's a bunch of embarrassing ones I don't remember, but that's just
Did you
right
do
up
any
there.
Eagles from behind the?
No, I think Eagles would have been all right.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have bothered me. I was not.
That's usually a singing drummer usually decides to do a couple, maybe Hotel California or something.
I know we're in New York and people are going to be upset, but I don't like Billy Joel. Never did like it. Didn't work for me.
He went from during the 70s, he was cool for a little while, to listen to. You
Yeah,
weren't
maybe
embarrassed to say.
Maybe I was out of the country that. I don't know. I don't remember that. But
No,
He doesn't remember ever
I don't know.
being
I
cool.
think like the late 70s
he
or
was
something.
trying to be cool, and that was the problem. You could see it coming. He had the skinny white tie over a black suit, jumping around in white tennis shoes like he's a punk rock Billy Joel now, like a little. And how did that? A Piano Man was all right.
Trying to win
That's
over
what
the
he did.
Clash fans.
Exactly.
Right.
Although I know, I have people that swear by the fact that his live show was supposed to be as good as anything, this side of Springsteen. And I guess it's true.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
You didn't like his lyrics though, when he in like "You May Be Right, I May Be Crazy," when he talks about riding his motorcycle in the rain.
Yeah, he's without shaving. You get the feeling like he hasn't shaved, and he's out. He's that crazy, wacky Billy Joel that drives around Long Island and smashes into people in the middle of the night when he sees double vision.
You gotta like the fact that he dumped a load in Christy Brinkley and then had a few shots and got in a car. How do you not respect that?
Eloquently put.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that on satellite
Phenomenally
radio.
put.
Well, at least he walks the walk. He doesn't talk
Right.
the talk right, but he walks
There's
the walk.
some news story that he was his old drummer, I guess,
I'm
and
looking
it's
for that.
probably a nightmare for people that go on to fame. Is when somebody from your past perks up, because it's not his drummer that he's played with for all these years and was successful with. It's like his original drummer when they were just kicking around came out and wrote this story about him, wrote a book. And he talks about Billy Joel drinking furniture polish to catch a buzz.
I believe
That's
it.
what you want. Your old drummer to come out and talk about those days.
Yeah.
Ramen noodles and furniture polish.
Well, there was a reason why he wore a white tie over a black suit. That's probably it.
Any old bandmates do they keep in touch? Because I know a lot of guys in bands, you played with people, so many different people, and then some go to the wayside. You pick up some new guys. You ever get a call? Hey, dude, you need like a guitar player?
No, that not Soundgarden was together for a long time, and I think that
Well,
may
that couldn't have been your
happened
first band though.
once. No, not at all. I had a lot of bands, but
I just think
I
you'd get
never
a
kept in touch with anyone.
bass
before
player
that.
would call up and go, dude, you're in fucking Soundgarden? You don't give me a call?
Most of the bands I was
Someone's
in,
sick, you could call me,
yeah,
I could get on a plane for you.
they wouldn't know how to get a hold of me. Most of the bands I was in before Soundgarden, I left because I didn't like anyone in the band, and that was, so it wasn't going to keep in touch with me.
I'm sure they're all there. But we liked you, Chris.
Maybe they were.
we talk
that's
about you
because
all the
I
time.
wasn't an asshole, and they were, and that's why I left.
God damn, that's always the way. Holy shit. Nothing more fun than being in a
Speaking
band.
of old bands, it just don't. What's the date today? The 11th. We are just shy of 2 weeks away from the 5 years since Rage Against the Machine broke up.
It's been
was
5
Get outta
years.
here.
5 years,
Wow,
October
man.
24th, 2000. Yeah.
God damn.
He remembers that date.
Where did those years... what was that all about?
I was
like it-
hung over at my mom's house, and my mom comes in the room and says, "Zach's on the phone," and I'm like, "Oh, Zach's gonna have to wait." I'm sleepy. She comes back about like 5 minutes and like, "Zach's on the phone. He says it's important." So I'm like, "Hello." He's like, and he tells me he quits the band, this, that, and the other, and like there's some press release coming out in a minute on MTV to say it.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
All right, bro. I gotta go back to sleep now.
What? It was just like that?
Yeah.
Did you see it coming?
But I saw it coming for about 10 years. It was actually
Really?
a surprise each day that it didn't happen.
Was there a lot of friction between him and the rest of the guys? And you guys?
There was constantly tension.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there was friction everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell's a very calming influence on the group as a whole.
You see, I told you.
Yeah.
It wasn't me before.
Phenomenally calming influence.
You were not the asshole.
You guys a lot happier doing the Audioslave?
Like on a daily basis, it's so much, there's a lot less tumultuousness on a daily basis. It's awesome. And we're so lucky too, like here it is 5 years after, it's like a phoenix from the ash. 5 years after Rage Against the Machine breaks up, we're here talking about playing in front of 70,000 people in Cuba. It's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
we're lucky.
That's amazing.
Chris, what do you think of Cuba? We talked to these guys about it a little bit.
I want to go back. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, I've talked to people since we did it, and of course, the experience for us was being an American band going there to perform in front of a lot of people. And I know a lot of people that aren't Americans that'll talk about, oh, you can just go right into Cuba if you're not American and on a vacation. And it's like, yeah, we didn't do that. It wasn't a vacation. It was an amazing cultural experience, and it truly was a cultural exchange. I feel like we, as individuals, forget about Audioslave, the band or the marquee, but just as 4 guys going in there and that side of Cuba was phenomenal. It was incredible, and I hope that, I feel like some of that does get on the DVD. So I think that I also think as a U.S. citizen that doesn't get the kind of information that other countries may get in terms of news media about Cuba. Watching the DVD will be a good thing, because I can speak for myself. I'd never been there before, and the only images I have of Cuba and the Cuban people are the giant flotilla shots they show on the news of people desperate to leave, so that they put themselves and their grandparents and their children in peril and try to float across the water to Florida. But you get there and it's anything but that feeling. And it's also it doesn't give you the vacation resort island spot feeling either, because it hasn't been co-opted by huge corporations. And I've been to a lot of vacation spots like that too, and you don't feel like you're in a zone where the actual people that live there.
Yeah, you're not getting a taste of the real culture.
They don't own anything. And they're almost they're the ones that become the maids and the dishwashers, and you didn't get that feeling either. These are proud people that that live in a country that they are proud to be in, and they're not in by the tens and thousands trying to float away.
So in general, you think they're happy over there?
I got the feeling that they were extremely resourceful and happy in a way that in my life right now I can actually be influenced by, because as Americans we're constantly inundated with new ways to be distracted. And it's referred to as entertainment, like go see the new Batman movie, check out the new PlayStation game, check out we have this new drug you can smoke, and all that stuff. And people really, without the types of distractions that we have, particularly the commercial ones, were standing around playing music at night, having a good time, enjoying the company of other people, enjoying art forms, music, literature in ways that probably has not been going on in this country for a long, long time. And I think that is more rewarding than sitting out and zoning out playing PlayStation, which is something that I'm guilty of doing.
Yeah.
So I value family and my relationships with my family and my band and the people close to me, and that you feel that with the Cuban people as soon as you land.
Yeah, we just kind of look at it like, oh wow, they're impoverished, so they obviously don't have any fun, they have nothing to do, and you just kind of put it in a nutshell there about it's not always about that.
That's
pretty cool.
If as a U.S. citizen, you get a little slap in the face when you get there with that, which is the U.S. embargoes is what is creating that poverty, and yet you're not seeing a bunch of desperate people. You're seeing people who are incredibly resourceful, well-educated people doing amazing things and are happy. In the face of since before I was born, some pretty dire poverty and lack of resources, and it's kind of you can't help but be stood up by that and think, my God, these are amazing country and culture.
I think the embargo is kind of a double-edged sword in that respect, because if it ever stopped, there would probably be a huge American influence down there, and the culture would start to suffer because they'd have access to a lot of those distractions.
I heard Timmy mentioning Coke and Pepsi, and then it'll be McDonald's and Burger King and IBM and Starbucks.
But you know what it would be? It would be a resort.
And a resort.
It would be a resort, and there would be a bunch of people on the beach, and they wouldn't be Cuban.
No,
it would suck.
You
would be what it was.
You drive
in
through
the
impoverished neighborhood like you do to get to Atlantis or something.
And that's one of the highlights of the trip was we went to a music university that used to be in the pre-revolutionary days was an elitist country club where like the rich people from other countries would come and the mafia, people would come and play golf and drink champagne and whatnot. And I'm sure the Cuban
each other golden
I'm sure the Cuban people there, were cleaning up after them. For any young Cuban person that shows talent in the arts gets to go there for free and get a complete education there. And we went there and saw some young jazz musicians play some of the most jaw-droppingly amazing music we've ever seen. But they may not ever be heard. But it was really incredible. But due to the embargo, they don't have enough guitar strings and bass strings and drumsticks and things like that. So that was one of the sort of the ironies.
Can't they get it from other places though, like Europe or?
No.
Hey,
it's because it's not an embargo. It's basically a blockade. Like the United States just says you may not do business with Cuba. Like if you're France and want to send over a boatload of guitar strings, we will sink your ship. And or if you want to send over cancer medicine for children with cancer there, we will sink your ship. That may not come in either. So those are some of the things.
Has the U.S. ever sunk a ship? Like,
they don't need to because people there's a big enough stick wheel.
It's like if you deal with them, then you're not getting this. It's one of those things. Yeah, you could do business. Go ahead, do business with them. Then we won't send you this.
Exactly. And the United States is a much more lucrative trading partner than
those countries aren't afraid to deal with Iran. They're not afraid to deal with Iraq or other countries.
They're
that
not communist.
Supposedly. But you know what I'm saying though. Other countries that we
have more.
And Cuba doesn't have oil either. Which is one of the reasons which Iran and Iraq do. They have sugar cane.
And there have been actual physical blockade standoffs, ship to ship standoffs, where no one was sunk, but it's happened.
Yeah. They came after us when we were floating across. There was definitely an incident. We brought mirrors though, and we were able to reflect the ocean, and so it was like ocean camo.
We brought mirrors.
Sick though. We went right between them.
Suddenly, that just sounded genius. That whole mirror camouflage thing is like it's almost Predator.
Yeah.
Great, bro.
We brought mirrors.
I don't like that.
You can do anything with the right combination of mirrors.
Brilliant.
All right, they're saying we got to wrap up because you guys got somewhere else to go at 10 o'clock. Ben, is that true? Yeah. Huh? All right. That sucks.
Crack producer
going,
Ben.
Yeah. It's Audioslave live in Cuba. Any final thoughts about Cuba or anything? What's going on?
Watch the DVD. It was amazing.
Did you guys bring us any cigars?
No, the State Department. I mean, when we landed in the port of entry, they took a very, very close look for cigars.
I can
and
imagine.
A lot of people, you go to the resorts, you can bring them back and stuff, and it's not that big a deal. But I bet they just, checked you guys out.
Yeah, very careful.
Very well.
We're also on tour, by the way. We're a band that's on tour in North America, playing some rock and roll shows around this.
And a lot of people are asking, do you play Rage? Yes, you guys are playing everything. You're playing Audioslave, you're playing the Soundgarden, and then you're playing the Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, even some Temple the Dog. We've been rocking.
Really?
Yeah. Even some.
Which one?
We're going to be doing all of that at the Madison Square Garden.
Say Hello to Heaven.
What's the date?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden's on the 29th, but this show goes everywhere, right? So just check out audioslave.com and
which Temple of the Dog songs?
We've done All Night Thing. We've done
Hunger Strike.
We've done
Call Me a Dog.
Call Me Dog. Yeah.
Chris, did you know Andrew Wood?
Yeah, he was my roommate.
Was he really?
So I thought
he
bump into him a couple times. Who are you? Get a haircut.
I absolutely loved Mother Love Bone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That record's a jam. That record.
I still play that thing.
Yeah.
I think that was a very influential record on rock, actually. And I've always felt like his death, in a weird way, affected rock music, because I think Mother Love Bone was kind of a bridge between like the commercial hair metal bands of the 80s and Nirvana in a sense.
You can hear it on the record.
Yeah. And when that bridge was gone, after he died, that bridge was gone, and then it was much more polarized.
Yep.
Because it was okay, like Mother Love Bone still was cool, and the quality was incredible of the songwriting,
and yet there were fancy outfits.
And yet they wore fancy outfits.
Right.
They would pout, and they would wear big hats and stuff in a photo shoot.
It is right in the middle between the hair band and the grunge, without a doubt. And I'm psyched because XM is playing Mother Love Bone, because commercial radio doesn't even touch Mother Love Bone, which I think is a shame.
I do too.
So whose idea was it to do the Temple of the Dog after he did what he did there?
It was a long, sort of strange process. I wrote 2 songs, Say Hello to Heaven and Reach Down, and I demoed them like on a 4-track at home, and then I had this idea for a second of maybe I'll get the the other members of Mother Love Bone together, and we can go do this as a single. And then I thought, well, they'll never want to do that, and it's a bad idea. And then somehow or another they got the tape and called me up. And then the idea was, we'll do that, and we'll do a couple more songs, and we'll do some of Andy's solo songs that no one's ever heard, and we'll cover them. And then his family and friends got really uptight about that, like somehow we were stealing his songs. And it wasn't a time to have weird feelings. And at the time, I wrote a bunch more songs for it. And Stone Gossard, now the guitar player of Pearl Jam, had a few things that he was working on. I wrote lyrics to that, and we just made our own record and all original material and put it out.
Man, it's love Temple of the Dog.
Hell yeah.
Sorry to go off on that tangent.
It's all right. we love it too, and it's awesome to be rocking those jams.
Yeah, right on.
That helped this band exist too, because I had such a good time going in with a group of people that I did not know, and it was such a positive experience that I had a positive attitude about possibly getting in a room with these three guys and having it be great, which it was from the moment that I stepped on stage. Like, there was a guitar and an amp on stage. I picked it up for 2 seconds, realized we were worse if I played it, and then we started coming up with stuff, and these three guys sounded unbelievable, and me singing over it sounded like Audioslave, and it was great from day one.
Awesome. All right, with that, we got to wrap up, I
Guys,
guess.
thanks, man.
Thanks very much.
It's Audioslave. The new DVD is live in Cuba. I'm going home and watching this today. Can't wait. And you guys are touring all over the place.
That's
Website
right.
for the tour dates? Because we're heard all over America. Right?
Yeah, Audioslave.com.
Audioslave.com for tour dates, and they're playing everything from Audioslave to Soundgarden to
Rage Against
the Machine. So thanks,
cool.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Robin, Robin, Robin.